live, and yet we are not live. So Russ Welch and Billy Bogus, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, of American Detailer on Facebook. This goes out to you guys. Now I would be shooting live through Facebook, except the connection here sucks. So we're shooting this video. I'm here with Ian.
Yep.
I mean, there's
Ian
no other
from
way
Microfiber,
to
right?
pronounce that, right?
Yeah, Ian Rammelkamp from Microfiber.
Rammelkamp.
Yeah.
That is a first. Never heard that name. So he's with Microfiber. But before we get into that, we want to talk about Billy's new line.
Yeah, American Detailer Garage. We got Wipeout here, which is a hybrid wash, rinseless wash and glass cleaner.
Okay.
Super concentrated. I mean, you can see the glass cleaner. I mean, you could dilute it 256 to 1,
Wow.
128 to 1.
Okay, some serious dilution ratios
Major
for
dilution,
a glass cleaner.
Right. And it works great with our glass towels. And then we also have F-Balm, which is an all-purpose cleaner, great for removing bugs, and it's also super concentrated. I don't even know all the uses for it, but there's a million of them.
Because honestly, this is my first introduction. Like, this is the first time I'm holding it in my hands. And Russ, this goes out to you because you're kind of the catalyst in this moment that connects all of us to all of you guys. So this is the first time it's in my hands, which I'm anxious to actually test it. And now we get the Good Timing Award because we got this music going off in the background.
Yeah, baby.
Which just stopped. So F-Bomb, we've got some serious dilution. So I'm looking at this, dirty tires and engine.
It's really an
interiors,
APC.
leather, smoke and tar, window. Yeah, so yes, an all-purpose type of cleaner.
Yeah.
Which I'm anxious to get my hands on and actually test in the field. So thumbs up to you, Billy and Russ. So now with that said, that's his chief
That's
first
his line. Yeah, he's coming
flagship.
out with other ones. The Wipeout's also available in quart if you just want to test it out.
Okay.
I mean, it's still going to last you forever because it's a concentrate.
Okay. Rinseless concentrate.
Yeah.
Okay. Which guys in this business, we're a huge fan of rinseless.
Yep. Yeah, especially where we live in Southern California.
Yes,
right?
yeah, with all the regulations, overly regulated.
Yeah.
So with that, let's talk about microfibers because that's the problem. Like me, I'm curious with microfiber, and one of the things that I naturally associated with it because you hear the internet's just full of endless opinions.
Yeah.
And everyone's got an opinion.
Yep.
And it's just like, well, if it's on the internet, it must be true, right? So how you don't know what to believe, who to believe, that type of thing. So what in the industry, what we've come to associate is microfiber with Korean.
Yep.
For some reason, we've been trained that like, oh, Korean microfiber, it is the best.
Yeah.
Well, what does that even mean? Do the Koreans have the market on microfiber, or where? That's where you come in.
Yeah. So originally, I mean, 10, 12 years ago, most microfiber wasn't made in China at all. It was all made in Korea. But then the prices started to get too high, so the Korean factories started moving their production to China. So they would actually have the fabric made in China and bring it over and cut and sew it in China. But as prices just got too high in Korea, and I think it had to do with like currency issues with the dollar and the Korean currency, the prices just became too high, and so most of the production has moved to China. And there are great towels and great products that are made in Korea, but there's different factories, and some of them are higher quality or lower quality, and it's the same thing with China. There are high quality China products and low quality ones. And our Chinese factory, their biggest customer is actually Korean trading companies. So they make the fabric, they weave it, dye it to the orders and specs to lots of Korean trading companies and send it over, and then it's cut and sewn in Korea, and it's called a Korean towel. So it's not, I mean, it's just not totally true, but it's true in a certain sense.
See, that's where you could kind of call it semantics.
Yes.
And it happens in every industry, and a lot of guys just don't understand the nuances when it comes to not only owning a business, but manufacturing, distribution.
Yeah.
So there's all these layers to it.
Yeah.
And there's this thing called private labeling.
Yeah.
So for example, in your description, you talked about the Koreans where it's like, okay, now let's say their labor costs suddenly escalate.
Yeah.
And they find that, wait a minute, China, we can actually use their labor because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
We'll get the bulk of it made in China. We can actually source the materials from somewhere else, who knows where.
Yeah.
Then we can bring it back to our country, do the final whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just packaging.
Yeah.
And we'll call it Korean.
Yeah.
But that's where governmental rules come in.
Yeah, they
like
do.
for example, the USA, if not enough of the parts are actually made in the US versus outsourced, they can't call it made in USA.
Exactly. I think it has to be like 70% made in USA. So we've actually looked into bringing in the fabric and cutting and sewing it and calling it fabricated in the USA, because that's a whole nother
nuance.
Distinction. It's another nuance. Like if you have 50% of the labor is done, you can call it fabricated or assembled in the USA. You can't call it made in the USA, but there's nobody making microfiber in the USA. It's never been done. It was invented in Asia. It's always been manufactured there, and so none of the tech is here. I mean, there's barely any textile companies in America at all.
Exactly. That's not our strong point.
No, maybe in the future, but they have all the tech and the expertise over there, and there's good factories and there's bad factories. So the Chinese factories we've been working with for 12 years, right? We've developed relationships with them, and we've actually taught them. So what we do is we take, our feedback from our detailer customers or our wholesale customers, and we take that information and we take it to the factory, and they make the products for us as we want. So we actually are educating the factories that we've been working with for a long time.
Because every industry, honestly, is going to have its own needs of performance for a given towel. It's like, okay, yes, we want a microfiber, but what we want is, let's say we want a 1100 GSM microfiber. It's like, well, why do you want that? Well, because we want it for this new thing called rinseless car washing product. Oh, well, what's that? It's like, well, that's unique to our industry. But we also still need, let's say, a 300 GSM, which help me out.
So GSM is grams per square meter.
Okay, grams.
So it's pretty much just the weight of the towel.
Okay.
So you take a meter by meter square sheet of a towel or fabric, and that is the GSM. You weigh it, and if it weighs 300 grams, it's 300 GSM. So it pretty much has no bearing on the quality of the material. Lots of guys associate the weight and the thickness. The thicker it is, the higher the quality. But that's just not true. It's not true at all. What it comes down to is that's the fineness of the yarn. So lots of our towels and most of our towels have a very fine yarn, and they're made with very high quality polyester and polyamide. There's actually different grades of microfiber. There's AA, there's single A, there's B grade, there's C grade, and it all has to do with the original types of fabric as it's spun. This microfiber is a blend of polyester and polyamide. So another misconception is that 70-30 towels or 80-20 towels, right? But the only reason the towels are marked with that is because it's required by customs. So you have to have the composition. And so lots of factories, I could go to a factory and ask them to mark our 80-20 towels or our 100% polyester towels as 70-30, and no one's going to know. Nobody's out there testing it. And there's companies out there that are unscrupulous that will do that. And there's companies all over the place. Like we've taken big box store microfibers and tested them. They said they were 80-20 and they were 95-5, or they were even 100% polyester.
So gross misrepresentation on their part.
But nobody's out there testing it to see.
That's kind of the nuances that a lot of guys, they just don't know. And honestly, we don't have time to know. So we have to rely on someone. Eventually, there's some form of trust that has to take place.
And that's what Autofiber is all about. Is about having a brand of microfiber that you can trust, and we're honest, and we're taking feedback from real detailers and developing our products with the feedback of real detailers. We're just not a company out there going to Alibaba, you know, buying whatever towels they're selling, you know, and trying to push them onto people because it's microfiber towels, right? We're trying to develop real towels and tools for detailers to use, and we've been doing it for a long time. So when I started selling microfiber in the automotive industry, nobody was even using microfiber. We couldn't sell microfiber to people. Everyone wanted to use cotton towels.
I remember those days, by the way.
Yeah.
Because switching from a all cotton towel, which is what I grew up with, to a microfiber was so different.
Yeah.
And now I would never go back.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone would say that.
So I've been coming to SEMA for 12, almost 15 years, right? And I've seen SEMA grow. It's amazing how much it's changed. And we used to come and walk the show and pass out microfiber to the detailing supply companies and different companies and try to sell the product. And it took years to get even people to even consider microfiber.
Yeah, back in the day, it was all about the baby diaper. The 100% cotton baby diaper, that was the ultimate.
Yeah, or the Egyptian cotton or whatever.
Yes, that too. And microfiber was this unknown animal. It's like, microfiber, what's that? And when I try to drag it, like for example, when you're shampooing carpeting or that type of stuff, and it grabs.
Oh,
it's
people
different.
hated the feel of it.
I hated that,
I hated it too.
Leather, but now I would never go back.
Yeah, and it doesn't bother you now.
Not at all. Not at all.
Right?
and it is an adjustment. And you think, well, why would I adjust to something that doesn't come naturally? Well, you can only appreciate that after you've used it enough to realize, wow. And really what kind of the metaphor I use when it comes to microfiber, because those fibers are so fine. So imagine, I wish we had, can I see a brush around here? Like, okay, so imagine you had a broom. Like everyone's got a push broom in their garage, most of you guys. And they've got these pretty coarse bristles to it. And let's say you have some fine sand on the ground. Now you sweep it. Now, because those bristles are so thick, it's not going to really do a really fine job on the fine granules of sand or the silt. If you know what silt is, it's like ultra fine, it's like powder. It's like the difference between salt, which are individual granules, and like flour. Flour, like cooking flour, is very fine and silty. So imagine you just dumped a bunch of flour on your garage floor, and you take your standard push broom and you want to sweep it. You would sweep and sweep and sweep, and it's still not going to grab that fine powder. So now you take a brush that has these bristles that are ultra fine, like a woman's makeup brush. Very soft. It's like thousands and thousands of fiber. You do one brush with that, and like instantly the flour is swept up. That's the comparison I make with microfibers and cotton towels. So cotton towels would be like that big push broom, where it's got these thick, coarse fibers, and it can be effective, but not as effective as a microfiber because the fibers are so fine. And it really just grabs and picks up dirt, and that's so porous.
And so that's the true difference between high quality microfiber and lower quality microfiber, is the fineness of the yarn. It's not the GSM, it's not the blend, it's actually the fineness, it's called the denier of the fibers.
See, there's a word I'm not even familiar with myself.
It's a hard one to define.
And every industry has what's called nomenclature. Which is their own terminology, their own.
So what happens is the fibers are actually super fine, and then they bundle them up into a bunch of other bundles of fibers. And so you can have super fine fibers that are bundled, like 150 super fine fibers bundled up into one bigger fiber. And then what happens is in the dyeing process, it's chemically split. And so it actually breaks down the fibers to a certain extent, and it creates all this surface area in between. And that's where microfiber kind of gets its like sucking ability. So it's these fibers that have all these pores and millions of pores and all this extra surface area that is created in the splitting process, and that's what like attracts dust and why it grabs onto your skin and why it absorbs water. Like you can pour water onto a table with a good microfiber towel and put the microfiber towel right up next to it, and the quality towel just sucks the whole blob of water into it.
It's also in certain industries they call it a wicking effect. It literally will wick, because a lot of people don't understand how a candle works.
Yeah.
Like, how is it that this wick in the middle of this big thing of wax, how does it stay lit and keep burning? Like, why doesn't the wick just burn away? Well, what happens is it heats up the wax, and it actually draws the wax up as it burns, and it's burning the wax. So microfibers has that wicking effect to it, where it literally absorbs the moisture up into it. In a much greater capacity than traditional cotton.
And so that is just the fiber factors. The fibers are pretty much all the same when you're buying high quality, sourcing high quality materials. And then the other difference between all the towels is the machines they're made on. So you have a towel like this that's made for glass that has a super smooth surface that's gonna not lint and not streak, right? And it's gonna glide across the surface. And then you have another towel with same type of fibers that are woven into this
This has a dual side.
A dual side, and it's super plush on one side and a lower pile on the other, so it's a multi-purpose towel. Or you can take the same fibers and weave them on a different machine. These are actually made on a blanket machine from a blanket factory, and they're
and they just cut them to size.
Yeah, and then they cut them to size, exactly. These are ultrasonic cut, and then we finish the towels in different ways. So these are ultrasonic cut edgeless towels, where we have the towels banded with a microfiber edge banding. So most of the competition out there has the towels banded like this, with 100% polyester banding.
When you say banded, are you talking about the rib?
I'm talking about the rib, right? So pretty much every company out there that's selling towels that have this ribbing or banding on the edge, it's 100% polyester, which scratches and doesn't absorb. So if you're trying to clean windows, it can leave streaks. But our banding is 80-20 microfiber. So it's a true microfiber, right? And it's split.
See, none of us commoners or lay people, as far as, yes, we're expert at detailing, and we know what works, but we don't know the nuances like you do, because you're you're the manufacturing side.
Right, exactly. And all these changes have actually happened from feedback from our customers, right? So when we were making towels at first, they were just overlock stitch like the ones you get at the big box stores, right? And then we had customers who said, you know, that edge is going to scratch. So we started adding a silk border to it. Well, the silk border is 100% polyester. We got customers complaining that it's scratching. So then we started making edgeless towels, ultrasonic. The problem with those, though, you know, some guys really like them, but they can start to fray and don't last as long. And so then we started making them with the microfiber edge that doesn't scratch.
And everything's got trade-offs.
Right. It's a personal preference, right? We've got 15 different styles of towels and different versions and sizes, weights. And guys ask what's the best towel, and I can't say what the best towel is, because it comes down to personal preference. There's so many different techniques and processes and chemicals. So there's some guys that just use this one type of towel in different colors and color code, and they're good. And then there's other guys that have a special glass towel, special drying towels, special wheel towels, special finishing towels, special wax towels.
That would be me. A lot of it's based on not necessarily quality per se, but the type of towel and then the color. Because it's easy to distinguish, like, oh, especially when you're training guys. It's like, oh, go get me the towel. It's the same color, but it's got, it's just too hard. But color is like instantly, like, okay, you need the blue towels for the chrome, the green towels are for glass only. The yellow towels, you know, go down the list. So color coding is part of.
No matter what you're doing, you got to color code them. Like that's the number one thing. Even if you're just using one type of towel. And it also cuts down, like, your wheel towels. You don't want to be washing your wheel towls with your, you know, your paintwork towels, right? Because just you don't want to get those.
That's where you need that's where segregation is very good.
Yeah.
Anything else past that?
No, I mean,
that was a good explanation.
The other thing we have is we have our detergent we made, Micro Restore detergent, which is a special detergent for cleaning microfiber. And people ask us, why do you need a special detergent?
That is such a common question.
Oh, we get the question all the time, and it's just because your household detergents aren't designed to take out the grease and the brake dust and the polymers that are in, or even the waxes that get into your towels. They're not designed to break that stuff down.
So it's not just a bunch of BS in the name of you guys being able to sell one more product.
No.
There's actually some actual science.
Yeah, there actually is some science. So this happened because we had customers complaining about their towels, getting hard over time and stiffening, and just not getting soft. And so we went to a chemist and we asked them, how do we fix that problem? They told us, do you have hard water? It might be hard water. The magnesium and calcium, get stuck in the towels over time. And so it has a water softeners in it. And then the other thing is it doesn't have fabric softeners, which lots of household detergents have, which clog the pores. And then the other thing is it's super concentrated. So with your normal household detergent, you're putting in a big, 5 or 6 ounces worth of detergent, and that doesn't get washed out of the towels. So the detergent actually gets stuck.
You think it does?
It doesn't.
The washing machine company wants you to believe it will, but it's not.
Yeah, and it's different too, because those detergents are made for just cleaning cotton or normal polyester that doesn't have all that surface area because the fibers aren't split. And you don't want to wear cleaning microfiber on your body.
Oh yeah, you'd be constantly
but only that, it just gets dirty too fast, right? And so Micro Restore is designed, and it's been thoroughly tested and vetted, and guys that like it and use it love it.
Good to know.
It makes a huge difference.
All right, another product endorsement.
Here we go.
Okay, Ian.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. So we'll turn it back over to you guys at American Detailer.
Yeah, American Detailer
and
Garage.
Then also American Detailer Garage. Yes. I just had to clarify that, make sure I wasn't misquoting.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Thanks, Billy.